I have 5 of the flours that we milled just yesterday now going into bags. We've got our bagging, our version 1 bag ready to go with a beautiful back plate that talks about our flours, a beautiful front plate that tells you the variety. And now the most important part, they're getting filled with the flour. And in a limited run, we're actually going to offer this flour online for shipping across the US. So if you live in the United States, you can be amongst the first people to try proof flour mill flour. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about all the varieties as I set these up. Really exciting because not only do we get to showcase grains from our part of the country, but we also get to showcase all of the grains that make our menu at Proof unique. So these are the same grains that we're using on a regular basis, and with them we're just making amazing breads, some of the best breads that we've ever made as a bakery over the last 8 years. I'm very proud of our recipes, but also really happy to share kind of how we do things and what you can do with this flour at home. It doesn't only have to be, of course, sourdough products. There's a lot of uses for flour. It's one of the staples of our civilization. And so we're going to be sharing all kinds of ways that you can use proof flour mill flour. And I think what we're hoping for in this initial run is to just see how things go so that we can get ready in the next period of time to do this on the regular basis. And so we're going to put up a limited supply. We're going to put up an online store that we will probably take back down for a moment after we sell this initial batch so that we can see what we did well in terms of shipping, see what we need to improve in our processes, and then we'll hopefully go back live after receiving all of your feedback. The most exciting part will be to see people actually using this flour in their homes, making amazing things with it. I literally can't wait to see what you guys make. Arizona grown Rouge de Bordeaux, that's coming directly from that field of wheat that we grew in conjunction with a local farmer. We also have organically grown buckwheat flour. Of course, rye is a big one that we've been working with recently. You see it in our country sourdough. You see it in our pizza as a added flavor bump. And then, of course, you see it in the rye loaf itself that we have made recently. Still one of my favorite breads that we're making now. Lasts really long. Love that about it. Now I'm putting on the label for Khorasan, which is this old 5,000-year-old grain from Persia. It's also my favorite proof bread that we currently make, the Khorasan loaf. So exciting to have that in our flour lineup. And last but not least, another heritage grain, white Sonora. White Sonora is this heirloom grain that hasn't been modified for hundreds of years. You could say it's Arizona's wheat, really, because it was introduced to Arizona a long time ago, hundreds of years ago, and has been grown here ever since. And it has a lot of applications beyond bread. Actually, not an exceptionally high protein content in this flour, but a really nice texture, a really nice color, a really nice flavor profile. So we've done everything from adding it to cookies, to adding it to breads, to adding it even to a pizza dough. I made a Neapolitan-style pizza dough with white Sonora recently. It's quite a versatile grain, and actually one of the ones that we've been selling the most of here in the bakery. So now that I have the bags set up for all 5 of these varietals, I'm going to go ahead and bag up your first bags of proof flour mill flour. You can check out, of course, the logo that we created for the flour mill. It's actually, I really like it. We tried to bring in elements of our proof main logo, the peel, but also elements of a stone flour mill. So you see the bottom half of the logo has the actual pattern of the stone. If you were to lift up the actual stone on the mill, that's the actual pattern and the grooves that are in the stone. And actually, the grains come in from the center of the stone, and as the stone circles around, the grains follow those grooves to sort of make their way out to the edge of the stone as they get ground into flour. So I've always thought that is a really interesting pattern. I think that pattern has been used in just standard design as well, but it's got this real practical application on our mill. So let's go ahead and get started with bagging your flour. I think I learned last time that I can get 2 scoops fully in without having to worry about overflowing. Yeah, that gave me 4, and now it's easier to get that last pound in. So Rouge Bordeaux, this particular grain is an old French grain that has been used in bread for hundreds of years. It has a nice high protein content, so it forms a really nice gluten structure even on its own without a base white flour. You can make a beautiful bread, 100% Rouge de Bordeaux. It accepts a good amount of hydration as well, which is nice in this grain. Of course, ours will accept even more probably because it's grown here in Arizona. So in an arid climate, we typically find that Arizona grains like more water. So if you are using our flour for the first time and you typically buy flour that's derived with wheat grown in kind of a wet area, you might find that you can add up to 10% more water into your doughs with Arizona grown grain. And that's the first bag of proof flour mill flour. This is the one that I hope people gravitate towards because, well, we intended to share this with the world. We grew 40 acres of it. So it's, if there's one that I personally would love for you to try, it's that one. I can tell you that it's being used in a lot of bread here. Now Rouge de Bordeaux is a big portion of our country sourdough formula. It's adding a ton of depth, a beautiful flavor to the bread, but also it doesn't harm the structure. So you can really go kind of aggressively with it into your doughs. It has a versatile set of applications. I've used it to make banana bread at home as well, and the banana bread turned out really nice, just 100% Rouge Bordeaux. That's the one flour that we're selling on this limited run in a sifted variety. That means that we've removed 15% of the sort of largest particles of bran and germ from the final flour. So you're getting a finer overall flour. And that's also something to note because the finer the flour, the lighter and airier your final crumb will be. So while this is certainly a whole grain flour, you're going to have quite a bit of bran and germ still in it. The sifting does help out in lightening it up a little bit. So next up, I'm putting in the white Sonora. And again, this is grown here in Arizona. This one I milled whole. So this is a whole wheat flour. But what's interesting about white Sonora is that it has this light color. And so as a whole wheat flour, it still appears quite a bit lighter than you would expect from a whole wheat flour. Buckwheat's got kind of this grayish look to it. It's interesting when you don't buy quality flour, when you're just subjected to what's available at the supermarket, you get the impression that all flour is somehow the same. It's all just white, bleached, somehow not good for you. And yet, as you start looking into it, you realize there's so much variety in flour. You see it in the color and the smells. When I'm opening up these barrels of freshly milled flour, they have such aroma to them, and you can't mistake the grains. Buckwheat has its own aroma, probably because it's not actually wheat at all. It's a gluten-free grain because it's more of a legume to begin with. So this is actually the flour that you want to get if you're trying to go gluten-free. But again, you can make a beautiful bread adding this flour in. I always like to use it in a scald form when I'm making sourdough breads. You can actually go back into our feed and see some older videos of us making buckwheat bread. But you can use it for so many other things. In Eastern Europe, I have friends that will make porridge with this daily, kind of like oatmeal, but with buckwheat. Also, back in the day, have made pan loaves with buckwheat. It really responds well to scalds, and the reason being is that buckwheat does not accept a lot of moisture normally. So if you just try to put in water with the main buckwheat flour, you'll notice that you'll get maybe 50% hydration to whatever amount of buckwheat. And that's going to lead to something sort of sandy. But when you use it in a scald form, meaning boil some water and then make a porridge from the buckwheat, you can actually go 300% hydration on this grain with no real problems, and then incorporate it back into whatever it is that you're making. So buckwheat definitely is for flavor, not for dough structure, because it doesn't have any gluten, so it's not going to give you a whole lot of structure. Moving forward, let's go to rye. For that, I'm going to move my grains over. And I'm transported to another gray grain that smells completely different from the buckwheat. Rye has this kind of grassy smell to it, and makes sense. And that's literally what it is. I don't have to tell you how important of a grain rye is. Throughout history, it's been the insurance policy to wheat all around the world. Rye grows in more places than wheat does, or often grows in places where wheat doesn't, like colder places. Typically, the further north you go in the world, I imagine probably the same is true the further south you go. There's more rye eaters, so Northern Europe really loves their rye bread. And even in North America, the further north you go in North America, just the more people that are eating rye regularly. But I'm doing my best to introduce rye in various forms to the the Southerners that I have around me in this warm climate. I think it doesn't have to be exclusive to cold climates by any means. You could argue that the Khorasan is the oldest grain that we have on board here as far as how long ago it was modified. This particular Khorasan is organically grown. It has this beautiful kind of sweet smell to it, much closer to the smell of wheat than, say, rye or buckwheat. It has a golden yellow color that comes through in the final products you make from it. Khorasan in particular builds beautiful crusts and is very highly regarded in our bakery now. Our Khorasan loaf is becoming, it's the most likely bread for a regular customer or a proof employee to love. The bread that people discover kind of in depth and flavor and nuance and complexity. We have used this grain also in the form of a scald in that loaf, but I know plenty of bakers that make loaves with just Khorasan flour. It works quite well. I would view Khorasan as a flavor more than anything else. Really beautiful flavor additive to your dough. So use up to 30–40% of your breads in Khorasan. And of course, I'm curious to see all the other ways that you might use this even outside of the context of bread. We are planning on finishing up the packaging of this limited run of flour and publishing it. So it should be available shortly after we finish this process today. And I can't wait to share it with the world. I'm asking for feedback on this one, even if it's critical feedback, because the whole reason we're doing this and getting it out there is to learn and refine before we turn on the tap for good for online shipping of flour. So please let us know what you think. What do you think of the packaging? What do you think of the videos that we have to support all of these grains? What would you like to learn about them? Let me know how you would like to evolve with Proof Flour Mill, because we want it to be a big part of our future. And we think that it's really one of the first things that we can share with the vast majority of you watching. Because wherever you are, I think I can manage to send you this bag of flour that's going to keep really well. In fact, if I milled it yesterday and let's say I ship it out tomorrow, by the time you get it, you're still probably going to be using it sooner than we use our flour here in the bakery sometimes, which can be like a week or two from the time of milling. So super freshly milled flour to your doorstep wherever you are, and not the type of flour that you're just going to go to the supermarket and find. We're really trying to give you varieties and flavors that reflect us at Proof, but also reflect something special that you can do with your breads at home. It doesn't mean that you have to give up whatever bread flour you love. In fact, a lot of these products will complement whatever you're already baking with at home. So give them a try and see how they go. And if you need advice, well, that's what we're here for. We've been using these same grains for years. We've already got a bunch of recorded content that features them, and there's a whole lot more coming, both from a home setting and from the setting of our bakery. So enjoy, and let me know how it goes.